Good morning. One of the things I think we can all appreciate from being in lockdown is that now we're not in lockdown. We can go out and we can see people and we appreciate it a lot more. We had our communion service just this last weekend in real life, and we could see real life people and not just look at a screen. And of course, we can go places now. We can drive places. We can walk wherever we want. And I think we've all been in that situation where we're driving somewhere or we're walking somewhere and we realise we're going in the wrong direction, and it can be quite frustrating. In Psalm 23 and verse 3, David starts by saying, "He restores my soul." Now, the word restores in the Hebrew has loads of different meanings, but they mostly have to do with turning around or turning back and coming back to the start. So why did David's soul need restoring? Why did it need turning around unless he was going in the wrong direction? You know, David started the psalm by saying that the Lord is his shepherd and he will not want, and the Lord makes him lie down. And now he's saying when it comes to him, he often finds himself going in the wrong direction. Notice he didn't say that he restored my soul or that he will restore my soul. Both of those are true, but he said he restores my soul. Again, it's this confidence in David. He knows where to go to. He knew who it was who would turn his soul around. And he goes on to say, he leads me. He keeps on guiding me. God is still guiding me. Even when I'm wandering off the path and I go in the wrong direction, God is still guiding me. And he leads me in paths of righteousness. Even though David himself is finding himself going in the wrong directions, God is taking him further and further down the paths of righteousness. So why does God do this? Well, he says for his own namesake. This wasn't a self-help plan that David was a part of. It was God making David more like himself for God's own glory. When we find ourselves going in the wrong direction in a car, how quickly can we become frustrated with ourselves? That we've wasted time and that we're going to be late. But God's not like that. When Paul writes to Timothy, he says, even when you're unfaithful, God remains faithful. And he says, for he cannot deny himself. It's kind of the same thing that David's saying here, isn't it? That even when we wander off, God is still there, and he does it for his own glory. He cannot deny who he is. He says, for the sake of his own goodness, he won't let you go. What a relief it is to know that we don't have to guide ourselves. We don't have to guide ourselves down the paths of righteousness. It's for God's own glory that he's promised to be faithful. I love what Jesus says in Luke chapter 12 and verse 32. It says, fear not, little flock. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Could it be that God will be more joyful to see you in heaven with him than you will be joyful to see him? Will God be more joyful in that day than you will be? Maybe. We have a security of being continually restored, continually led by God. An assurance. John Piper says, you are as secure in Christ as Christ is righteous and God is just. You are as secure in Christ as Christ is righteous and God is just. He restores my soul and he leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake.